It's Friday. You know what time it is. It's Frontrunner Podcast Collective. I am your humble host, Vince. And as always, the silent assassin, the person that we need the most with the stats, with the quotes. Soraya is handling the ones and twos. On today's podcast, we have so much to get to. Today is the West. We do the East on Tuesday, West on Friday. We also have a programming note. Due to so much going on with the West and how it's playing out, we needed to give basically all the attention to the West. We promise awards, and we will deliver awards. It will have its own separate show. So we are doing a special podcast on Sunday. Sunday we'll have the awards, MVP, all of that. We also came up with our own awards, which are amazing, and we'll explain them as we get in. This podcast was so big, and there was so what was going on with the entire Western Conference as far as the playoff is concerned, that we couldn't do the awards any justice whatsoever. So, with that being said, again, be on the lookout for a special podcast on Sunday for the awards for the end of the regular season in the NBA. And it'll go really great with the ending of the Masters. Bill's pod will come on probably like 10:30. Ours will be way done. So you can listen to ours, then you can go over and listen to Bill and Rosillo, do that whole thing, and then have a great night. So I think that's what we're going to be ended up doing, and it was a good call by Soraya. And let's get into the rest of this pod, shall we? Because again, the Western Conference standings resemble a snow globe. Give it a shake, and the entire landscape shifts. Seeds 4 through 8, they're staying playing musical chairs. Playoff positioning and the music doesn't care who's left standing. Consider this. The Lakers have secured a playoff spot, but their seeding is still in flux. The Nuggets and the Clippers are neck and neck, while the Warriors, Grizzlies, and Timberwolves are entangled in a three-way tie, each holding a 47-33 record. It's a daily reshuffle, a new configuration every morning. This scenario brings to mind the Amazing Race, where teams navigate unpredictable challenges and single misstep can cost them the lead. Remember, the team misread the clue and ended up miles off course. That's the Western Conference standing in a nutshell. One wrong move and you're out of contention. Or you're battling a team that you definitely don't want to face, like OKC. In the midst of this chaos, individual performances shine. We had an outstanding performance from Anthony Edwards and John Morant, and we'll get to those performances in this podcast. The Timberwolves to a franchise record 52 points third quarter against the Grizzlies. Julius Randle adds 31, reinforcing Minnesota's surge like a team finding a fast forward in the Amazing Race, catapulting them ahead in the race. You know, they just took down, they like, oh, we are not dead yet. Memphis is kind of fluttering around. We got to make a move. Let's go ahead and do it. Anthony Edwards smells blood. You see what happens. Meanwhile, we turn our eyes to Dallas, and we're about to get there and go over all the pageantry. Do not worry. Luka returns to Dallas, dominates. We'll get into all of what he did. So as we brace for the final games in the regular season, the question isn't just who will make the playoffs, but who can navigate the snow globe of the conference without losing their footing. So, with the West spiraling like an episode of The Amazing Race in Kuala Lumpur, let's hit the pit stops, the power shifts, and the performances that actually move the standings. And we start in Dallas. I watched this game, and as a Laker fan, and then also as an analyst, you gotta kind of go through all of it. And obviously, we saw the emotion that Luka shared. It was crazy because he wear his emotions on his sleeves to his detriment sometimes. We knew that. But real reality hit that day, and a lot of people around the league are saying that there's no way in hell that guy was not going to take the extension. Whoever is still believing that, there's no way you could believe that after what you saw in Dallas a couple nights ago. Now, there are games that matter in basketball, and there are nights where the person does. And April 9th was Luka Dončic's goodbye to the city, to the fans, and to the dream. In a return, he gave Dallas one last gift: 45 points, 7 threes, and one unshakable reminder that not all titles or trophies, some are relationships. Pause and let that marinate. Luka didn't just light Dallas up. He carried the entire arena on his chest. The performance, it was a eulogy. Let's get into it. Luka Dončić, 45 points, 31 points in the first half. He had 14 points in the first quarter, 17 in the second. He couldn't be stopped. His usage was ridiculous. He was everywhere. He was an ISO maestro, a pick and roll puppeteer, a post initiator. Luka ran every page of the playbook, and he was more docile than normal. Usually Luka is a lot of piss and vinegar, a lot of snarling at the refs. Maybe he has a back and forth with a fan. You saw none of that. This guy was, for Luka standards, he was pretty much genteel. Now, the Lakers, 58 points in the paint. Size, spacing, and optimization. I want to get into that in 1 second. 22 assists, 12 turnovers. So, pretty much a clean basketball game, and they had efficient rotations, and we're getting to the point that I want to talk about. LeBron James finished the game, so Luka came out like a house on fire the first half, kind of kept the ship going in the third quarter, and then LeBron, as just like a Mariano Rivera-like closer, came in and he scored 27 points, but he did a lot of his damage in the fourth quarter, and just basically being the tactician that he is. Role players, Rui Hachimura, 3 for 7. But what makes Rui so important to this game is how he handled Anthony Davis and also Daniel Gafford. He was physical with them. He was able to kind of present them to help side defense. He was able to kind of put them in predicaments where they would have to pass out and then kind of reestablish themselves. And by that time, because of the fact that Dallas does not have the real ball handlers that they need to handle this type of defense, they were throwing up like crazy shots. So it was what it was. Austin was basically a connector. He wasn't loud last night. He was just doing what he does, providing rebounds, providing assists, providing floor spacing, and just being there. Because this was the Luka Dončić show. Let's not make any mistake about it. This wasn't just Luka's return. It was a referendum on how hard it is to replace greatness in an infrastructure. Dallas construction, defense, switchability, off-ball versatility, all logical on paper. But the harsher truth is this. The team had 20 turnovers. Dallas Mavericks, 8 from non-Luka ball handlers or Kyrie handlers, however you want to put it. So, Luka's not there. Well, they went to Najee Marshall, of all people. He actually had a pretty good game, and we'll get into that in a second. They were 9 of 26 from 3. So that's just a little bit above 33% right there. Nico Harrison was, they said fire Nico several times throughout the broadcast, to even the point who is as professional as they come as an announcer had to finally acknowledge the fans, like at a WWE event. They were taking over. It's like when the crowd wants to sing Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes. They were going, fire Nico. It was nuts. And he was just sitting in his regular spot, having to listen to this and having to see Luka drop 45 on the Dallas Mavericks' heads. The emotional connection to the fans was real. It was visible in his interaction with Kugan and the media after his pregame warm-ups. Luka made the Lakers, just the whole front office, the whole staff is just giddy about what they have, because they have fallen into good fortune. Because this man said this before the game. So Dallas obviously rolls out the red carpet for Luka. There's a tribute video. Now, how it works, the visiting team gets introduced first. Now, they Austin, okay, Jackson Hayes, all right, who else we got? LeBron, we got Rui, and then a video comes on. And I would say like 7 seconds into the video, Luka asks for a towel. He's looking at the video, and you can see the emotion just starting to well up in his eyes. They were bloodshot red from the night before, because as Jovan Buha of The Athletic reported, he didn't get a lot of sleep the night before. And he muttered at that point, looked at JJ Redick and said, I don't know how I'm going to be able to play in this game. JJ, LeBron, and Austin Reeves all said, we got your back. Don't worry, big boy. We will carry you through this game. You just do what you do, and we'll follow your lead. If you can't hit, we'll start making shots. Don't worry about it. We'll pick you up, big brother. He got the same sentimentality from like Dorian Finney-Smith and others, to the point where when he did check out of the game, first of all, classy move by JJ, because Dallas calls a timeout. JJ leaves Luka in and then has Luka intentionally foul so that the Dallas crowd could give him his standing ovation and just their appreciation for 6.5 incredible years that he had put out on the court for the Dallas Mavericks fans. Great gesture by JJ, understanding the moment, understanding who his player is, and understanding how far that could go in just galvanizing that bond between those two. So when we talk about, does JJ understand like the psychology of coaching? You bet your ass he does. Handle your superstars with this type of respect, and you know what you're going to get. Here's the other thing. The Lakers look like a championship contender. They look like a team that is ready to get down. Situations into quick drafts. That was one of his 7 assists. Here's the best part of what he did in this game. His true shooting percentage. Now, Luka has been completely inefficient since joining the Lakers. A lot of turnovers, a lot of bad shooting nights, whatever. laser locked in, 67.5% true shooting percentage. And then with 3:33 left in the fourth quarter, Luka, guarded by Max Christie, how apropos, an ex-Laker, he drives past Christie, which is inexplicable, but just height, strength. He gets around Christie. He wedges himself underneath the basket, and P.J. Washington is there to provide rim protection. And Luka kind of looks at P.J. kind of out the corner of his eye, goes underneath the rim, and throws this like super English high off the glass prayer that just lands so softly in the net. And it was Luka magic all over again. They didn't have any answers for him. They got obliterated. They were held under 100 points. And that crowd went home happy, kind of, and also kind of sad. Some players leave cities with rings. Luka left with something harder to quantify. Belief, heartbreak, and a performance that will play in Dallas highlight reels longer than their playoff series. You don't always get the fairy tale, but if you're lucky, you get one night like this. And Luka had himself a hell of a night. This takes us to the rest of the chaos that happened within the last couple days. Because did anybody check out the absolute show that Minnesota and the Memphis Grizzlies put on? It was incredible. We need to get to it. And there was so much to get to in this. Bear with us. So Minnesota goes to FedEx Forum in Memphis. We all know what's going on in Memphis. We know about the coach change, the everything. It's just chaos down there. Tomas Iasolo is the head coach as of right now. And I think Minnesota smelled blood. Because you want to see a Western Conference team punk someone in their own building. Minnesota dropped 52 in the third quarter. Ja got his bang shot 60%, and it didn't matter because Ant-Man's jumper, ridiculous. Randall was absolutely spectacular. It looked like 2021 in MSG. Let's get into it. Ant and Randall, it was the Twin Towers of pain. It was ridiculous. Ant stat line for this game, 44 points. Check out this efficiency. 13 of 19 from the floor, 7 of 11 from 3, 11 of 13 from the free throw line. What did he not do? What did he not do? He controlled the pace with effortless shot making. I mean, he was just basically launching projectiles from everywhere on the court. It didn't matter who they had on them. They tried Bane. They tried Aldama. They tried others. It was like he looked at Ja at one point like, not happening for you. His poise as when they were down, he didn't trip. He was like, the storm is coming. Just wait. Multiple coverages. There were drops. There were switches. There were blitzes on him. It didn't make a difference because when you blitzed him, he went over to Julius Randle, who was probably on a guard a la Ja Morant. He bullied him to the underneath the hole and then just put it up and in. Julius Randle had 31 points to support Anthony Edwards. 13 of 22 shooting, 5 of 10 from three-point land. He was absolutely hot. He emphasized rim pressure and rebounding, just being an absolute bully in the game. He did all the things that he was doing in New York, but he did it in a more, he's taking out the shot diet, the mid-range, less. It's slowly coming out. And I'm starting to like it. So he's having more attempts at the rim and also more attempts beyond the arc. So I think he's making some adjustments so he can kind of be able to be optimized in this offense that he is in with Chris Finch at this point in time. He had 5 assists, Julius Randle, playmaking his ass off, using short roll to punish traps on Ant. You give Ant a shooter's bounce and Julius Randle a green light, and that's cardio for your funeral. Literally. Now, the Grizzlies, they didn't sit there and just, turtle. John Morant was typical John Morant. He had 36 points, 13 of 27. He did hit 5 threes, but he had 5 turnovers. His scoring versus people like Gobert and Giannis as paint deterrents. He got a technical foul in the fourth quarter, and his frustration showed that he was not being able to get to the paint like he wanted. Now, Desmond Bane, who is a absolute FRPC, like, he's not a friend of the program, but we love Desmond Bane. We loved him since he came out of school. He came ready to play. 28 points, 6 of 10 from deep, elite spacing, elite movement, but there was no defensive answer for Randle because that was the key. If you were going to blitz Ant, Randle needed to be active, and he was. He was absolutely active. He was absolutely impactful. They felt him. Jaren Jackson Jr. still putting together a pretty good season, but that decent defensive player of the year stuff has gone away. Because as Memphis has started to go down in the standings, their defense has gone along with it. He was in foul trouble early, Jaren Jackson Jr. And then he got a technical foul in the first quarter as well. So he was not happy pretty much the whole game. Now, here is the thing. The Grizzlies were up in this game. And then in the third quarter, you got outscored by 27 points. 52-25. Minnesota shot 55% from the field, 45.5% from 3, and 89.3% from the charity stripe. Ridiculous. And then you mix in Grizzlies not valuing the basketball. 15 total turnovers. What are we doing? And by the way, those were live balls. So those were run-out dunks and corner threes all night long for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So when you think, how did they win this game and how did the game flip like that? That's how it flipped. Here's having a good game without really like stuffing the stat sheet. Rudy Gobert was a plus 13 and plus minus in 36 minutes. And really, he didn't really score a lot of points whatsoever. So now Memphis and Minnesota are both 47 and 33, tied record, but the Wolves take the seeding edge with this win. The raised questions that we need, did we see going to be deployed as we go into postseason? Because if this is the Randle that we're getting, if this is the guy that can provide, listen, is he going to score 31 points every single game? No. But what I'm saying is, can he give this effort? Can he be this impactful? Because if he can, Minnesota is going to be absolutely dangerous because Ant Edwards is the absolute killer. The Grizzlies got cooked defensively. They are absolutely dreadful in the second part of the year on defense. This looks like basically something that they're going to have to retool during the summer. I don't think there's anything that Iasolo can do at this point to really because without Brandon Clark, there's really not something that's turnkey that you can stick in that lineup that can help them. Now, you can tell me GG Jackson, they haven't tried this, do this. Listen, if you're depending on 20-year-old damn near GG Jackson for like defensive chops, we're in a grave state of emergency in this situation. All right. Now, where does this take us? Because there's so much going on. This takes us straight to the trash talk, because that's the one thing that we have not talked about yet. We had Ja Morant, and we had Anthony Edwards, and we had Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, Jaren Jackson Jr., all on the same court. So, trash talk. So, who won that, right? We know that Minnesota won the game. Who won the trash talk? Let's get into it. Third quarter. Ants hit his third pull-up three over a lazy switch. He backpedals, eyes Ja, and mouths, "You gonna need two more like you. You gonna need two more. Go get two more of them. Two more Grizzlies to stop me. Because that's how hot I am right now." Morant avoided switches onto Edwards for most of the game. Memphis had to stunt with Aldama and trap late. It didn't matter because we told you Julius Randle had himself a game. It wasn't the scoring. He knew he had the edge, and he said it with his chest, damn it. And wasn't trash talking. He was doing customer service. He was letting Ja know what the return policy was on that defense. No refunds, no stops, no chance. Now, Julius Randle talking to Jaren Jackson Jr., talking some hot mess to Jaren Jackson Jr. It was crazy. So, second quarter, Randle bodies Triple J, scores with a bump, and talks right at him. Walking back, Triple J is jawing to the ref, and he gets a tech 30 seconds later. Julius hits him with this: "You looking at the ref, or you guarding me?" What's up? That's what I'm saying. Randle went 5 of 7 against his isolated matchup against Jaren Jackson Jr. and with post touches, so pretty good. The T wasn't frustration at the call; it was an ego bruise from getting called out on the court and being then exposed as a fraudulent defensive player of the year candidate. I love Jaren Jackson Jr. I think he is a really great player. He is pretty much there's a lot of things around him, but you can't have Julius Randle punk you at FedEx for him. Can't do it. Now, for the most odd trash talk of the game, Nas Reed, John at Zach Edey had to be the funniest thing I have ever seen in my whole entire life. So Nas gets an offensive board in the third quarter, goes right back up through Edey, and lets him know. Just lets him know. He's like, "Oh, so a tree can fall in the forest and it don't make a sound?" Woo! Man, yo, it's getting spicy out here in these streets, dog. I'm letting you know. It's getting crazy out here. And we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs, and we're going to have more of this. So, with that being said, let's talk about a team that is being really not talked about a lot. They're being slept on a little bit. They might feel a little disrespected. They're in the same city as another team that gets all the pub, all the highlights, all the endorsements, or as my dog Cuba Gooden Jr. said in Jerry Maguire, the Quan. The Quan. I want the Quan, right? So the team that we're talking about is the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, you know me as a Laker fan, so you know I cannot stand the Clippers, but as an analyst, I got to give them a ton of respect because what they're doing right now is not just incredible, it's kind of scary, and it's starting to look sustainable And it looks like we're going to go and have hell to deal with when we get to the playoffs. So let's get into this real quick. Okay, we need to talk about Zubac and what he's doing. It's crazy. 20 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. Is he now Sabonis? Like a bigger Sabonis, jumbo size Sabonis? Deliveries like Al Horford? You know? What's my man doing? He's out here doing big, big things. I'm just saying that for a guy, they're going to give like the most improved player to like Cade Cunningham or somebody like that. It's going to be something just like, we know that Cade is awesome. And I don't want to take anything away from Cade, but when you see that Ivica Zubac has just completely changed the game, he's become more physical, he's become more confident and aggressive in asking for the ball. He's made major leaps. He's a major cog in what the Clippers are doing, and he is a complete engine to their success. And to see him not be recognized is, to me, a little fraudulent, a little criminal. But we also know that this team, that the NBA runs on stars. But that's why you got us here at Frontrunner Podcast Collective, because we grind the tape. We'll let you know who are the most improved players, and we think that Ivica Zubac is deserving to have consideration of that award. Him and also another another player in this city, which is Austin Reeves, who's done an incredible job this year, basically finding his way to be useful to two separate superstars in two entirely different fashions. You know, now Ivica Zubac does get a lot of help from Harden with the lobs and rolls. The offensive he provides, the physicality that he gives. These are all things they needed. Keep in mind, Kawhi hasn't been healthy the whole year. They lost Paul George. We didn't know that Norman Powell was going to do this. But Ivica Zubac has been consistent every single game. Oh, and by the way, he plays a lot, which is great. Now, another guy we need to talk about is our guy. Another white American, but he's been buried. He's been buried on the bench all year. It has been a cold winter for our guy, Risacher. We thought this was going to be the great American hero. But we've seen glimpses. And a couple days ago, we saw another glimpse. So, 6 threes isn't the story. The types of shots are corner lifts, ghost cuts, relocations, and after driving kickouts. Feet always loaded, quick trigger sniper. Bane Light with a Seth Curry if he could actually defend. He's a rookie. He had 4 turnovers. So, the processing speed, leaves a little bit to be desired. But the handle is great. Now, Ime's edict in Houston. If you don't play defense, you can't play for me. You know what I'm saying? Amen, Jalen, Fred VanVleet. But I'm going to tell you right now, be on the lookout. If you're looking to kind of repurpose Reed and trying to get yourself some offense, I'm actually wondering if he will be kind of like their X factor in the playoffs, because Houston has a really hard time scoring. Jalen Green is very inconsistent with what he can do. There's a lot of talent there, but sometimes I don't know if he knows the timing and the rhythm of when he's supposed to use it. To me, their most consistent base of offense is running through Alper and Şengün, allowing Fred VanVleet to kind of do a bargain basement version of Jamal Murray around Şengün. And then on the second side, allow Jalen Green and his athleticism, Tari Eason, Amen Thompson, people like that to go ahead and do what they need to do. But I don't run that team, so I can't, Ime runs that team, and that dude should be in consideration for Coach of the Year. We love Ime. We love what he does there. Good job on you, player. Now, the Rockets aren't just lab coats. They got dogs. Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore, if for some reason, you just need some offense. They got the experience of Aaron Holiday and Jeff Green. They're just going to be a real, we got to play them. It's just going to be so hard. So if you don't come with the proper mentality, Houston will wear you down because they'll just bring bodies and bring more bodies and continue to bring them because they're all young. They're all pretty much healthy because they're young. They sprinkle in a little experience here and there. You got Dillon Brooks. Like I said, they got Aaron Holiday as well. He provides a little leadership. Jeff Green is like, kind of like what Lakers. He's there for vibes and to provide old school leadership. I love it. So now, are the Clippers for real? Let's just ask this question. Are they for real? Well, even though we will not do the same old dance what we do with the Clippers, Kawhi has been very impressive. He's looked great. He's putting up like 30. He's rebounding. He's shooting the ball very, very well. He seems to be guarding better, moving around the court a little bit better. It's all the things that you wanted to see in the Clippers. We just talked about Zubac and what kind of energy he has brought. He's like the glue for tempo again. Bogdanovich was an absolute steal for them. It's just another guy who can move the ball correctly and he makes decisive, quick decisions. There's a thing in this league that, like, if you can process really good, if you're a quick processor, even though you might not have the greatest shooting night, you're still impacting winning because the ball moves faster than people. It's still the oldest saying in the book, but it's 100% true. Do you want to play the Clippers in the playoffs? Well, we'll get to that a little bit later. We'll get to that. We will. We do need to get to Golden State because everybody was celebrating this team. The last time Harrison Barnes had a shot that mattered, it was Game 7 of 2016. He missed it. And a dynasty still breathed. Tonight, over Jimmy Butler, he did not miss that shot. I'm going to tell you right now, we've been celebrating the Warriors, but losing this game to San Antonio, I will say before I go forward, this could be one that they look back on and go, oh, that's why we didn't go to the Western Conference Finals? Okay. We get it now. And it's the second time in 2 years that this has happened. San Antonio, Victor Wembanyama, last year, he had a really great game, last game of the season, and knocked Denver out of the number 1 seed. So they just killing playoff contenders left and right on their way to the lottery. Golden State comes out with fire. 13-point lead in the first half. The ball is zipping around. Curry is running drag screens with Butler. Draymond is creating downhill. It looked like a playoff team for 12 minutes. The second quarter, the Spurs run 19-6 stretch with Castle and Champagnie. They collapse the paint. Golden Warriors start settling for threes. Kerr goes to a Santos-heeled Kuminga, and the offense grinds to a halt. It was like watching a remix of a song you love, except the DJ spilled coffee on the controller and nothing hits right. Curry checks out. Curry checks out up 10, then checks back in down 3. It's a full-blown bench hemorrhage. Kuminga was supposed to be that guy. Can you feel when the team doesn't trust its second unit? You can see it in their stares at the scores table. Let's talk about deep high rotation on Barnes. He gets an isolation 3 with Jimmy Shaden middle. Where is the top side stunt? Where is it at? I just want to know. Where's the peel switch? I want to know. Who was supposed to help out? We might need Zapruder film on this situation. It wasn't just that one play. It was a system breakdown. The Spurs spaced Golden State out. Castle handled the pick and roll pressure. They got Draymond moving laterally, not vertically. That's the key. Castle in April, looking very young Drew Holiday-ish with IG confidence. You know what I'm saying? He flourishing on the ground. Now, Buddy Hield went 4-13. He couldn't stay in front of anybody. He couldn't stay in front of anybody. He was a complete turnstile. Kerr kept him out there. If this is your playoff rotation, just go small permanently. The only scarier than Curry-led team without floor spacing is that those spacers keep shooting like they are trying to exit the group chat. Buddy Hield was brought in for shooting, and he is not providing that shooting. And Draymond's energy was wild. One moment he's quarterbacking, the next he's throwing outlet passes to ghosts. Hey, but keep on going ahead promoting that you are the defensive player of the year. He's winning this. He's winning this popularity contest. He is fooling y'all. Amen Thompson is the defensive player of the year. Stop. Period. That's it. His story. He's doing things on the defensive end from a perimeter player that we have not seen. Tell me the last person that D'd Steph up one-on-one and just shut his ass down. Tell me somebody 6'6", 6'7", and literally providing rim protection on a frequent basis. Tell me somebody who can stand in the middle of the court and then get out to the corner 3, so he's literally guarding damn near 3 positions. That's what Amen Thompson is doing. So when you talk to me about defensive player of the year, no disrespect to Draymond, he has been great. He has been great in the second half of the year. He been great since he's been energized because Jimmy Butler got there and they can now win. But Amen Thompson has had success all throughout the season. And his game has just grown and grown. So for me, looking at the metrics, looking at what he does, look how impactful his defense is, and especially when you are looking at a team that does not have a star player on that team. No shade to Şengün, but you know what I'm talking about. A real legitimate dude. But we got Amen Thompson out here just locking people up, putting them in prison. And he can't get defensive player of the year because he doesn't have a podcast? Well, Amen Thompson, just know that I will be your flamethrower. Just know I will be your orator. Just know I'll be your oracle. I'll be your whatever, master of ceremonies, whatever the hell you need to win this defensive player of the year award. Every coach has a tipping point. Kerr hits his. You can see it, his posture during the fourth quarter, timeout. pure disbelief. Here's what I'm told. Golden State front office was already bracing for play-in contingency. This loss validates every fear. They're still not out of the woods. They could still make the 6th seed. Everybody's still scared of them. This is not, doesn't change anything. But they knew that this was a razor thin situation. They knew they had to be damn near perfect to get into the regular playoffs without playing in the play-in. So they knew they were going up against it, and they redlined it as far as they could. I'll say it. If Kerr can't trust anyone but Steph, Dre, and Butler in a close game, meaning like if we can't get anything from Jonathan Kuminga, this is a wrap. We don't have to do this anymore. We don't have to play these games anymore. We don't have to do any of this. Jonathan Kuminga wants whatever the rookie max contract is or whatever. Guess what? Playboy, you're going to have to play. You're going to have to give us 18. You're going to have to provide rebounding. You're going to have to defend. You can't get lost in the sauce anymore, my guy. It's time to prove. It's time to show and prove who and what you are. Get it going. Get it going. Now, no depth, no problem. You know what I'm saying? They're still, like I said, 47 and 33. Destiny is not in their hands, but, you know, if you take care of business, somebody's going to be favorable to you. You just take care of what you need to take care of. Larger questions. Kirk built this beautiful system. Motion, read, react, space, ISO, and defense. It's not elegant, but it's effective. The bigger question is the final year in Draymond and Kerr. When is that going to happen? Is this the reason they pushed in for Jimmy Butler? Is these 2-3 years the final straw, whatever it should be? Are we still of trying to hold on to young talent and just not try to build the best team around Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond? Because Kuminga, I love him. I can ride for him. But playoff minutes, you have to come with consistency, not just vibes. You can't get a tip back dunk, flex, and then I don't see you play a lick of defense for 12 minutes while you out there. I'm sorry. Harrison Barnes hitting the dagger. Steph dropped 30. The bench disappeared, and now the Warriors are out of cushion, out of time, and maybe, just maybe, out of chances. Now we get to Jokic. We get to another team going through some shit. So obviously they fired the coach with three games left. They played a game. We'll talk about that in a second. Some new revelations have come out. You know? And we'll get into that. So I thought that we would take our time and discuss a little Nuggets basketball. Denver didn't just fire their head coach. They blew up the command structure, and only the fingerprints are left on this team. Nikola Jokic. The Cold War between Calvin Booth and Michael Malone is over. The Cronkies didn't choose a side. They torched the battlefield, and they handed the ashes to Jokic. Now, again, this is not a victory lap or anything. What this is this saying that, you know, we've been watching this thing. We kind of talked about this over the last 2 years of this pod. And I always wondered how this was going to play out because I kept on saying Booth wants the kids, Malone wants vets. Malone wins because he is coaching the team. How does this play out? Well, we find out now. Malone's old school trust guys culture clash with Booth's scalable upside vision for years. Booth wanted Pickett, Jarek Pickett, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther to get reps this year. Malone couldn't quit Russ or Saric or Our guy DJ, DeAndre Jordan, still getting minutes. And Jokic, the Jokic equation, albeit he's having a MVP caliber year. There's no question about that. You don't risk alienating a savant like him just to win a bench argument in January. You just don't do it. And that's what Michael Malone did. He kept on putting Jokic out there for 40 minutes. He kept on putting Jokic out there for 42 minutes because he didn't trust his bench. Now, the 23 title team didn't hide their problems. It froze them in amber. A perfect run masked by an imperfect marriage. Calvin Booth, who was the vice president of player operations for the Denver Nuggets, he kept on always talking about, well, we got these draft picks and we believe in the type of player we want to bring in, and we think that they could implement and also extend our run with this one-of-one talent, which is Jokic. And if we can bring these kids along and kind of implement them into the system, Jokic can kind of do some of the lifting as the kids kind of rise, right? That was the whole plan. Michael Malone was not hearing that. Picking wasn't just a pick. He was a philosophical declaration. You think Jokic wants loyalty over leverage? Nah. He just wants to flow, play basketball, and go chill with his horses. When your culture mucks up the cleanest offensive genius, it's time to clean house. Enter Dave Adelman. David Adelman was on the staff when all this came to be. He's a player-trusted technician. Calm, quiet, real hooper energy. No panic, no pacing, weirdness. Just system-forward hoops. Now, here's the thing. If you saw the game, you saw some differences. They were subtle, but they were differences. Braun looked amazing. Brown looked great. He looked like all the things that Calvin Booth wanted out of him. The defense, the shooting, the energy, the deflections, all of that. Then we got Jarrett Pickett. And Jarrett Pickett closed the game. Outread Utah's traps. MPJ was a play finisher. 21 points, no ball stopping, all rhythm with his shots. Peyton Watson was a plus athlete. Energy spikes, needed better floor sense because, he gets lost on defense. But it's one of those things where you saw the future of what Calvin Booth was looking for in the beginning. And also, Jokic didn't have to score a ton of points, and we'll get to that momentarily. Westbrook was benched in crunch time. Bad decisions. 2 of 11 from the field. The ball died in his hands. He was not worthy of play in crunch time. Sarge and Zeke Naji did not participate. Coach's decision. Strother and Tyson. Julian Strother got a little run, a little bit, but we'll see how that all works out. It's a new era when the player Booth bet on outlasts Booth himself. Let the Jokic power era begins. Jokic was consulted. Please flirt. So much better. Jokic was consulted pre-firing. There's big news. He's now the sun around which everything rotates. Do not rule out Tim Connelly returning. Keep in mind, I told you 3 or 4 pods ago that Tim Connelly had reworked his contract and he has an out clause this year if he doesn't like what's going on. Now, he was brought in by A-Rod. He was brought in by Lori. So, chances of his staying are probably very, very good, but Tim Connelly did come from Denver. So we throw that on the back burner, you know. Smart, quiet, be the long-term internal answer. Who knows? You just don't rebuild a franchise around Jokic. You align it. And it's the first time since 2023. Denver finally is. And then they went out and they firmly hunted the Kings. I had a triple-double. Jokic. Sabonis, some of the space needed for versus verticality. Because Aaron Gordon was all over him. Impact as a mover than Sabonis did as a fulcrum. So that tells you all you need to know about that. Alright, now we need to get to development. Let's get into it a little bit. Let's get into Shaedon Sharpe. Let's see what's going down. I need to talk about the Portland Trail Blazers. Shouts out to the Pacific Northwest. All my peoples chilling out in Rip City. How you doing? If you're a Blazers fan right now, forget the scoreboard. This wasn't about Utah. This is about auditioning your future. No Scoot, no Simons, no Grant. Full green light archetype testing. Game felt like a lab. Scales. Who survives? Let's get into it. Shaedon Sharpe. He looked like a Helio adjacent scorer. 37 points. Handled doubles. Curled into actions. Clinging. Drop big. Vertical defense. No fouls. Plus paint presence. Smart late reads. Love that. Ryan Rivera, who was a draft pick a couple years ago, was supposed to be kind of like a Matisse Thybulle type of dude. The shot still hasn't come around. So Rivera, switchable wing. The shot still is not there. 1 of 7 from threes. He stayed aggressive and disruptive, but you got to be able to shoot the three to stay on the court, my man. You got to shoot the three, make the three, and then you can defend till your heart's content. Clinging played like a future anchor. Shaedon Sharpe, he looks like a guy that is ready to go ahead and take a bigger role in the offense next year. And I wonder what that means for a guy, Anthony Simons. So, what does this all god dog mean? I'll tell you exactly what this means. For the Nuggets, this wasn't just a coaching change. It was a cultural reboot. We just basically did a software upgrade on the Nuggets completely. We got one of the Cronkies running the team right now. They will do a GM or a president of player personnel. They'll do that in the summertime. But for right now, it's the cap guy, Cronky, and a couple trusted front office people. But everybody else, cleaned house. Gone. You get a pink slip. You get a pink slip. Everybody gets a pink slip. Except for you two. Y'all cool. Rest of y'all, fuck you. Basically. Portland loses his different. This one gave the Blazers clarity on their blueprint. If Klingon and Sharpe keep scaling, they've got some outlines of something sustainable. Now, I want to go to our off the bounce segment. The reason why I want to go here is because usually in here, we're going to put some stats and some things that we kind of need you to focus on, whatever, something that might kind of tantalize your friends and you'll be like, I know ball. I know ball. Y'all think y'all trying to play me like I don't know ball? I know ball. And this is a good place to start. We're going to start in Atlanta, the ATL. Zachary Risacher gave the Nets 38 piece on 75% shooting. That's a real surprise. No. Vic Krejci played, looked like a functional creator and the connector and lead. So, in the Risacher situation, we talked about it. 38 points on 15 of 20 shooting. 15 of 20. He went 6 of 11 from 3-point line. He was a plus 28 in box plus minus. Yeah, box plus minus. Yeah, 100%. Now, first 8 points came in the first 3 minutes. Trailer 3, fast break dunk, reverse layup. Trail 3 came at the 10:48 mark of the first quarter, so he basically walks into a 3. The dunk came off a steal at 9:24 in the first quarter. And then the reverse layup came off a curl action, you know what I'm saying, at the 3:29 mark. He's not creating space. He is teleporting into it. Defensive rotations can't catch him because he's reading the space before it exists. This ain't a rookie. This is not a rookie. This is with a heater at night. This is spacing algorithm in sneakers. That is Soraya's note. Yeah, Soraya's getting real jiggy with the notes. I like it. Vic Krejci got some burn. He scored. Listen, perfect night. Come on, dog. You had a perfect night. 3 for 3 from the field. 1 for 1. 3-point land. 2 for 2. Free throws. Hey, man, listen, I don't care. Let's get it done. Like, I'll tell everybody I had a perfect night. It was pretty cool. So he had a baseline relocation, extra pass to Niang 3. Ghost screen popped out, hits his 3. Transition fake to a trailer skip corner for a hockey assist. He was very connectory. I liked it. It wasn't flashy, but he creates order. He flows. It's like watching water droplets. Water droplets. You know what I'm saying? It's just relaxing. Just makes you just want to chill. Put on some jazz. Okay. Trae Young, our guy. He's kind of changed over this year, and I want to give him some credit. He scored 24 2 turnovers, and he was 3 of 8 from 3-point line. He had 6 free throw attempts in the third quarter alone. He was plus 20 in 31 minutes. Now, why am I highlighting Trae Young? And you say, well, everybody knows Trae Young is good, Vince. Well, I'm going to highlight some things that normally people don't. He had a drag screen skip pass to Daniels that registered into a quality shot. He hits a step back 3 from 27 feet. He Nash drift into a lob opportunity. Now, here's the thing. He's getting off ball more. I think I said this in the last pod. Trae Young has over 200, in a sense, inverted pick and rolls where he is the pick. He's the picker, right? He's the guy setting the pick. Now, that's not an impressive total onto itself, but this year he has as many pick and roll as a pick guy than he did in his entire career. So we will always recognize change when change is coming with a growth spurt for the person as an individual. Now, Risacher, I don't know if he's going to be the rookie of the year. We got to do those on Sunday. And that special reminder, Sunday pod. Normally we don't have them. Tuesday and Fridays are pod days. But this pod was so robust. There was so much going on. We wanted to give the awards its own time, its own energy, its own section. And we wanted to respect all the hoopers out there that provided the moments that we're going to create for you on Sunday. So keep in mind, special Sunday podcast. FRPC, Frontrunner Podcast Collective, the NBA awards, plus our own awards that we will be doling out. All right, so y'all keep it locked here. Now, a little more about our guy Risacher as far as the Rookie of the Year situation. Good time to have a 38-point game. By the way, he has the most 30-point games of all rookies. He has 4. Castle is out there just doing his thing, doing great things. But our guy is really playing well, and he's providing real, legitimate, impactful plays for a team that, hey, they're in the play-in. So we could talk about all of this all we want. And listen, Castle has played well. Now, his efficiency is not great. And this is where Risacher has him, because Risacher is also, he's reliant on other people getting involved, even though we've seen more self-creation late than we had normally. So that's great. Now, the thing with this whole thing is that we talked about it in the last, when we were doing the draft, basically preview, we knew that this was going to be a draft that wasn't like full of just like high end talent. We knew that this was going to be some guys who might turn out to be, best case scenario, the 4th guy in a starting lineup. Maybe the 3rd. Maybe a 6th man, backup big, maybe a backup wing, maybe somebody who starts and plays like 25 minutes a game, whatever. But this was not the draft that was going to give you just an explosion of talent. But I think Zachary Risacher, for what he has been and what he's done all year, and show development throughout the pace of the year, and sometimes some of his minutes been fluctuated. Now, losing Jalen Johnson gave him the opportunity to go ahead and do his thing, and he is so improved. So I understand that Castle might get the love because of the fact that, yeah, he might end up on SportsCenter with the dunks and some of the things that he does, but as far as the actual play and what he's done for his team this year, Zachary Risacher might not be flashy, but he might just be the correct choice for Rookie of the Year. So, now, you would say, Vince, it is an hour into this pod, and you cannot do that to you. We are trying not to do that to you. So what I want to say is this. We wrap with the West Daily Reshuffle, a playoff picture that feels more like the Amazing Race, with teams grasping for fast forwards one night and missing flight connections the next. From Jokic's quiet dominance to Randall's loud rebrand, this episode dives into who is built for the chaos and who's about to drown in it. So, we hope that we painted you a pretty good picture of what's going on in basketball. Keep it locked here, because remember, again, we will have a Sunday pod. That Sunday pod would have all the NBA awards on there. And we also have created some of our own awards. So I can't wait for you and I to discuss those. Also, be a friend and tell a friend about the podcast. If you are on Spotify or Apple or Amazon Music or whatever platform you use, make sure that you are following us. Make sure that you're following the podcast. Also, make sure that you hit that notification bell, so when a new pod comes up, or like on Sunday, there will be basically a special podcast. You will know right off the bat, hey, we got a new pod. Let's get into it. Vince is trying to drop some jewels. Soraya's got the notes. This is going to be great. So do that for us. Also, be a friend, tell a friend about the podcast. The other thing is, are you joining us on social media? Are you joining the conversation? I've not seen a lot of it. I've seen more things in my email than I've seen on my social. So I hope that we can make these changes. Keep in mind, this is pretty much a brand new podcast. We laid out a couple different branding situations, but this is the one that we've landed on, and this is the one that we hope that will provide entertainment and information about the NBA as a whole, draft, front office moves, and things of that nature. The most important part of this whole situation is you, the audience. We cater to you. So if you want some sort of implementation, or if you have a suggestion that we can strongly consider because it's good, the only way we will know about it is you give it to us. So with that being said, X at FrontRunnerPC. Rhea is at Rhea _Flunch FRPC. Now on Blue Sky, I am still at frontrunner.bsky.social. So Rhea is different because she is frpc.rhea.bsky.social. So follow us on our platforms. The other thing, we have promised videos and we have not delivered. And it is my fault. But we do provide blogs. And we will provide video. I will get some up. I promise. We are working on a whole new deal to get that whole thing together. We're trying to get it all, trying to get it all put together. Trying to make it happen, coordinate everything. Trying to coordinate everything. Trying to get it together for you. That's all I'm trying to say. So, how we close out every show. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, push you forward, and remind you who you are. If you got folks like this in your life, celebrate them, text them, hug them, let them know they matter, because and real ones. And if you're building that circle, start with us, Front Runner Podcast Collective. You got a seat here with us always. And with that being said, we'll see you back on this Why Podcast merry-go-round. We'll see you back on this feed on Sunday. You guys stay easy. Dose.